You've just heard footstep sounds, a loop and impact sounds done on a setup that fits in the corner of your bedroom. If you are a sound designer or someone who wants to try out Foley, you have to see this. In this video, I'm gonna explain what a Foley Station setup is, how it changes the game for pros and beginners, and how you can work with me or meet me on site on a workshop this year in 2026. Let's go. My name is Bastian Gerner. I'm a senior Foley artist working on movies and games for the last 16 years, including 5 years at Ubisoft. I also run a community called the Foley Guild where I teach Foley, and many people ask me on social media if they can actually learn this without having a Foley stage like I have. And the simple answer is yes, and here is why. The problem that many people that want to get into Foley have is that it is kind of gate kept and nobody is really teaching it. And you need a lot of space, a huge studio, and you need a lot of money to build it. Then you need a lot of time to train, which is true. But when you want to get started, where to start, right? I appreciate everyone who is recording sounds for their daily work as a sound designer on their desk or just in front of the mic. But if you want to get the next level dialed in your own room, then you kind of need a Foley Station system, because with a little bit of space, you can then achieve the next level of sounds that normally you would need like a Foley stage to do it, because impact sounds and loops and footsteps and all these kind of things, that is very difficult to achieve in a room that is very resonant, let's say. And with that system and the miking setup and all the tweaks that I have in my preset, you can actually do great results when you use your headphone and train yourself to record pretty good stuff. Because the problem with most people recording on a single mic in a room is that they get thin results and it just doesn't sound like what they want and what they need for the timeline they're working on. So therefore, the Foley Station can fix that. Let's look into how it is actually set up. What you need to get this Foley Station operative. First, you need this stone. You have to find it. It has to have low resonance on its own. So when you ping it, it shouldn't have a tone or something like that. Then you build a frame and pour concrete into that frame, put the stone inside, and then the resonance gets even less. There's a manual, link is in the description, you can download for free, then you can see what you actually need, and it's very easy to follow that manual, so build your own stone. Then you need the silomer pads here to decouple that surface from your room. So when you put energy on it, you have two wins from that. The low end from your room modes doesn't get triggered as much. Still, you might have to control it with a little bit of low cut. And the second win is the sound gets very focused on where you actually perform. And that's why you can capture great results if you have a bit of a treated room. You can't do that in your kitchen with tiles everywhere or in your bathroom, okay? And then the next thing, why is it modular? Because on that surface, you can then put different types of bags and materials and create different surfaces from it. And you don't need a gravel pit or whatever, a dirt pit. You just put that on. Then you have your dirt pit, and then you put that on top, and you have your gravel pit. There you go. The same goes for the wood surfaces that you see here in the back. There's also two manuals that you can download together with this one. And that way you already have something that you can now train and work with. And the real trick with the low end, because the thin sound maybe is still a problem if you have to pull your low cut up until 150 Hertz, is the SM7B. And that is maybe the best thing about it, that this is the low end capture device where you can then bring back the low end when things are too thin. With that, you can really achieve a lot of sounds that are not possible without it. So make sure to get that manuals, link is in the description. And if you need some support with the silomer, then just DM me on Instagram and I can help you out with this, okay? Why does this make sense for sound designers? Everyone who is recording their own sounds, they might feel limited, and that gives a really big ramp up of the possibilities that you can actually record at home. If you are in a position where you can hire Foley for every project that you're working on, I think this is still interesting because then you can brainstorm throughout your sound design sessions and actually stand up every now and then and record stuff that you maybe normally wouldn't record if you record on a regular basis anyhow. But things like, this kind of impact here, maybe try something, or a texture that you can create on one of the surfaces, or that maybe helps you already in your design work. There are many people who cannot afford Foley for every project, short movies or indie movies that have a very low budget. And then you can maybe start and train and get your own footsteps done, and don't use MIDI triggered kind of software that always kind of gives mediocre results and it's not unique. And there you can create unique sounds and footsteps, and cloth movement is a whole topic on its own. You don't need the Foley Station for that. With footsteps and impacts you need it. And there are many use cases where this actually makes sense to implement in your daily workflow, because that way you can work more creative, you can be more efficient, you can handle quick turnovers, and especially with game audio, you can record a lot of sounds on your own. And then in pre-production, it makes total sense, because even if you're not trained, you can come up with quick things that you can actually put into the game that are better than a peep placeholder or whatever. And then if you train up, you can actually record great results. For example, physics objects. I recorded tons of physics objects for Ubisoft. And if you need to do that, this is actually helping you to not, spend too much money on external Foley. You can go ahead and record your own sounds and play around, put them in game, iterate until you're either happy and you use that in the end version, or you have something to show a Foley artist. Look, this is what I achieved already. Take that as your fundament and make it better. And with that, I think there's a lot of use cases that actually help people. Let me know in the comments if you consider this, or if it's just like too much for you and you don't have time for this. I would like to understand the reasons why people decide against it. Okay, thanks for doing that. And now let's get a bit practical with it. Let's assume you are a beginner and you want to train up in Foley and maybe make a career in this, but you don't find a studio that you can go to on a daily basis, watch people do it every day, assist here and there, and then use the studio at night and train yourself up. I mean, that's the traditional way. If you can't do that, then build a Foley Station and just do it. And then you will learn many things very quickly if you do it regularly. Because one thing is the miking. You have to place the mic in different ways. I use a lot of on and off axis technique, especially with the big condenser. Then you have to find a way to implement the SM7B and get the low end back into your sound. And then, of course, you have to do the footsteps and actually learn how to move in order to be in sync and to match the emotion, and try the different surfaces, put a little bit of dirt on it, and try to record it in a way that you don't get all the transients in your way. So in my setup, for example, I use high cut and low cut. Of course, with game audio, almost no high cut, but with movie, very drastically. And then I also have a transient shaper, the SPL Transient Designer, that has -3, -5 on the both attack and sustain. And then I use a bit of compression on all my channels. For that reason, I don't have to gain all the time. There is a course that explains that in detail. There's also a free course that comes with my email newsletter. So if you sign up and get the manuals, you also get a 6-day free DIY course where I go through the mic setup and the DAW setup. And then there's an in-depth course that you can also get from me, where I actually show people exactly how I do everything in more detail. Now, when you perform the footsteps, I'm kind of known to do it with one foot. And this is also because I did a lot of Foley professionally with that surface, with that particular surface that I built for professional use, because I worked in an ADR studio. And with that surface, you can't really stand on it and move freely. Therefore I step on my other shoe like the first step I did. So therefore I used that space just with one foot. And one foot has a lot of pros to my understanding and experience, because I'm very flexible with the foot. so I can be very precise. The trick when you start training this is you have to find a way to not just use your force. You know, when you just use your muscles and, you know, put it down on the floor, then it sounds not good. So try to be very flexible in all your joints, your hips, your knees, and then let the foot kind of fall down a little bit. Go also with your other leg up and down, and try to find the right amount of force that you need to come up with a good impact. But then also try to roll up the foot. And that is something you have to practice. And this goes, of course, for every craft that you want to master. Put in the hours. And if you need more assistance from my end, the Foley Guild is a place where I help people to achieve these kind of results. I look into what you do. I look into your setup. I help you with the process. And that's what I love. And if you need that kind of support, then feel free to reach out to me. Now let's do one scene with the setup and then wrap up the video.
Was? Mehr gibt's das mal nicht.
Komm, wir helfen den anderen. Rüstel.
Was ist?
That was from a movie I actually worked on in this studio almost 2 years ago. Of course, I can use also my poured concrete floor here and you know, space out the surfaces a bit more easily, so I don't have to kind of crunch into this kind of small thing. If you have this, then just record the grass and record the dirt separately. I just wanted to showcase that it can be done with this. And if you want to see this showcased in my own room, I'm inviting you to my game audio barbecue that is happening during Gamescom 2026. This year it's the 29th of August. If you want to join, just DM me and I'll put you on a WhatsApp group. And if you want to come to Italy for a workshop, there are 2 opportunities in 2026. First is July 25th and 26th in North Italy, in a place called Basis Vinschgau. There's a link in the description. Just check it out. If you want to join, it's $5.99 for 2 days. And then there will be another workshop in Sardinia at the end of October. And there are only 3 spots left. So if that's for you, then contact me directly as well, because we don't have a functioning link for that. So that's it for now. Thank you for watching up until the end. If you haven't subscribed, then please do that now. Hit the comments, hit the likes. I appreciate you. See you in one of the next videos. Peace, the Foley teacher.